Welcome to this evening's live stream. It has been a minute, YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't missed you that much. Whoa, just kidding. I am sitting outside right now. That was my chickens fighting, so if you hear some crazy sounds, that's what's going on. I promise I'm not having a cockfight. They just do that. So tonight we are catching up. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been on. It's just been, I mean, look at it. It's beautiful outside. It's 7 o'clock. The sun is shining, and I have been busy in my garden. And I hope all of you guys have been too, because there's just no better time than being outside working with your hands in the soil. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the Blaze project, which I have been working so hard on, and hopefully a lot of you guys have been as well. I've got Cat Lady here with me tonight, and she is, as you know, my right-hand woman, helping me with all of the tech stuff. So she's been behind the scenes, getting things just organized. So we're gonna pull up this evening. We're gonna show you what we've been working on, what she's been working on with the blazeresearch.org. We're gonna talk about where we're at in the Blaze project. And for those of you guys who are new and have not heard about Blaze, which welcome John, Caldeo, Double D, these are all Blazers in the chat. So thank you guys for joining. I know this is a different evening. Which I do want to say, if you miss me, if you're watching this and you just want more Queen of the Sun Grown, please subscribe to my Patreon. That is where I go live every week, rain or shine. I should say shine, because the sun is what tempts me to not be on my computer. So no matter if it's sunny outside, I make it to my computer every Tuesday night at 4:20 for patrons. This week we actually had a really fun conversation about frequency and music, playing it to your plants. And that's just a little sneak preview of my next article for Seedsman, so you guys can check that out. But again, if you want a regular meeting with all of us, come join it. 4:20 Tuesdays, patreon.com/Queen of the Sungrown. Snoop, what's up? Homestead Acre. All right. So, like I said, tonight we're kind of just reviewing Blaze, and we are doing a giveaway for two lucky members of the Blaze Grow Along. And so Blaze Botanical Latitude and Zone Evaluation, we are a group of growers dedicated to collecting data so that we can create a outdoor growing zone. So when you pick your seeds out, we have like tangible, like proof and evidence and data to validify which strains are going to grow best in which regions. And we can't do this without your help. So this year, how many people did we have finally sign up? Cat Lady, what was our total number at? I think like 84 or 5 the last we talked.
Yeah, I was still tinkering with some of the settings, but let me log in right now, because, Riverside always wants to throw curveballs at us. I think you've seen the chat, so you know that it's not connected, or at least it's not connected for me.
Oh, I am so happy that I have the live stream chat for the first time ever, so it's working for me great
tonight. All right. Well, I refreshed. I haven't seen if it... Oh, I refreshed, and that does seem to have fixed it for me, so that's nice, because it was not showing before, and so I was tinkering with some things. All right. Let's see. Am I logged in?
Well, while you log in, I'm going to answer John. So he said he heard playing bird sound helps wake up and put to sleep. So there's actually... I went down the rabbit hole on Monday, and I was looking at all of the scientific research that has been done, and it is a specific frequency that bird song hits that opens the stomata. And so if you're growing indoors, this is really great information to have, because you can play music for your plants to help them simulate, waking up or going to sleep. And what a really great tip that I got from this was play bird sounds to your plants 30 minutes before you foliar feed, and it will increase the efficacy of the foliar feed because the stomatas will be opened, and you can continue playing it throughout the entire foliar feed. And I read something like 2 hours, up to 2 hours afterwards. So pretty freaking cool stuff. And I just love science and plants and the fact that we are all connected. So when you're going inside, trying to mimic nature as much as you can, if that's the only option, but obviously grow outdoors if you can. So Brian, 42, I don't know what that means, but hello Trey, Brent. All right, so were you able to log in?
Yes. So we have had 4 new registrants, I think is the word, since we last chatted. But I do have, because I wanted to go old school, I wrote everybody's name down. So, other than, I just dropped them on the floor. Of course. But yeah, I have all of the people who had registered. We had one person who won our late register, those who hadn't registered yet were entered and completed all 3 surveys were entered into a separate pool prize. So that's why we have two prizes: early birds and procrastinators.
And for those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, who might just be tuning in, we are giving away prizes for those who completed their surveys, because as you all know, we are stoners, and filling out surveys mid garden season is not necessarily on the top of our list of to-dos. Yes, she's showing off some of the things that you have a chance to win: immunity, scissors, stuff from the stash, the grassroots pot. Thank you to our sponsors for helping support this. Citizen Science Cannabis Data Project. It's so amazing. And thank you, Seedsman, yes, for the seeds, the genetics, sending it out to everyone. And so because we've been we had 85 people sign up, and we had maybe 24 people fill out or register their accounts. So it doesn't, even if you sign up, it doesn't do any good unless you participate in the project and collect the data. So we're incentivizing this by giving away prizes. Now, we gave away a prize for a person who was a new registrant by the 15th of June, and then we also did for the existing registrants to finish the surveys. So there's 3 surveys out right now: germination, transplant, vegetative. I'm gonna be honest, I just filled out my transplant survey right before we did this, and I have been posting in the Discord, so I knew when I actually transplanted. I took pictures, they're all on there. So it doesn't have to be I'm sure we live on our phones. You can look back and find out. You can do this in retrospect, and we're gonna give away more prizes. So if you haven't registered, get on there, get your booty on to blazeresearch.org, register your account, and fill out your goddamn surveys, and you might win something. We're definitely going to do another giveaway soon. So who won?
We'll give a giveaway also. You can veto. I'm gonna make the because I don't think it is as obvious as I intended it to be. I thought. The general comment survey: if your seeds died for some reason, maybe you put them out because they didn't survive a cold snap or something like that, and so you're no longer able to participate for one reason or another. With hopefully photo evidence, we can maybe do a I'm trying to think of a funny name, but a weakest link or something like that.
Definitely.
People who couldn't.
I'll send you some immunity, because then your plants probably wouldn't have died.
My plants are so happy right now. I'm
Yay. Good. Yeah, mine are, they're happy, but they could have been happier. I definitely should have smashed down my potato plants sooner because they were getting like overgrown and smothered by potatoes, spinach, beets, radishes.
The same thing with marigolds. Like I just took out easily 100 volunteer marigold plants, the African marigolds that just get like giant, and so I'm just gonna pass a bunch around and be like, here, take some, because I planted like 6 last year and was like, they clone so easily. You just chop it and stick it in the ground, chop it, stick it in the ground, and so now I just have 1 million volunteer marigolds.
That's amazing, though. I love buying seeds once and then never having to do it again.
Yes,
it's so nice.
Yes, that's my favorite thing.
So you're saying that we have now 4 more people who registered, so we're up to 28? Is that what I'm hearing then? Something like that?
88.
88 people registered. 24
now
people have filled out their surveys.
I'm going to say, now we have had, and I need to double check for doubles because they're allowed in the germination survey. Also something that Alex and I have been talking about, how we may like simplify going forward. This may be the right approach, it may not. But 88 individual germination submissions, and then, or 44, sorry, I said 88 because I was thinking of less. We have half as many germination surveys. And then we have 44 transplant surveys. All right. And we have 25 vegetative growth surveys. So about 40 people need to get at least an initial survey on in there.
So can we send out an email to those 40 people?
Yes.
Perfect. Let's do that and offer them, the first 5 people who fill out their surveys will get an immunity. They just have to pay for shipping. So if we do that, I will send you a sample size immunity, no charge. You pay for shipping for the first 5 people who do it, just to try and get people excited and go for it. And with that being said, we are planning a big flower survey. This is the prize giveaway. This is the most important survey of them all. And kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight with the why your plants may be revegging goes along with the most recent article I wrote for Seedsman on clones versus seeds and how that all ties into the Blaze project, and maybe this is a problem that you're having. But before we dive into that, let's do the giveaway. Let's pick our winners so that we can get that gone and out my mind.
Let me pick the ones up off the floor.
Okay. Let's see if you guys can check out my chickens hanging out. I got all my babies in there, and they're getting along really great. Okay.
All right, of the old timers, there are 10 who had completed their surveys on time.
Hey, there's, time is an illusion.
I mean, completely aware. I'm usually the last to fill things out, even when, at work, when you had to get your time cards in, I was a person in charge of getting everybody to do their time cards. I never did mine.
That's funny. Yeah.
All right, so the written name is Mr. and Tim. I was gonna say it's a generic enough name, and it's not an email address. I'll send you an email. But Mr. Tim Bobaway, Bobway.
Right.
You are the winner of the prize, and then JK, funny username, is the winner of the new kid prize. So congratulations!
Yay,
and
JK!
We're gonna have a lot more prizes this summer. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. You are going to get something awesome. We'll get that shipped out to you. And Caldeo, when she means old, she's just referring to the people who completed it, who had registered before. We had two different groups of people. One was people who had already registered and hadn't filled out all 3 surveys, and then one was for people who hadn't registered their account at all yet. And I'm pretty sure that there's probably more people who haven't even registered their account, but bought seeds. So we need to figure out how to cross-reference this with seedsmen. Again, this is only our 2nd year doing this project, so each year it's going to get bigger and better, and we're gonna figure out all of the kinks, and we need you guys because this is citizen science, and that means that each scientist, you and me and Cat Lady, we are all here making this project happen together. No one person is in charge. It's a group effort, and we are just working together so that we can provide this to future growers to make their lives easier by knowing what seeds they should plant wherever they live. So, thank you guys for participating so far and being in the 2nd year of Blaze. I can't wait for next year already, but let's just see. I can't wait for flowering. Let's see how big we can get these plants and what kinds of flowers we got off of them. So I think that's a perfect segue.
All 4 of mine are easily 4-footers right now, and I put them in the ground less than a month ago. Like, I procrastinated on getting them in the ground, and they're just so big. I'm excited.
Yay! That's amazing. Dang, mine are not that big. I got them in the ground June 4th, and I would say they're like a foot. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. 20 days, maybe a little bit less than a foot even. Some of them are taller than others, but my side pieces. Yes, and if you are part of the Patreon, you get exclusive access to side piece projects. I gave seeds to everybody in Patreon that wanted them from Stayfly, which is one of my absolute favorite farms in Southern Oregon. They are Stayfly Genetics. Check out their seeds. They're a little pricey, so it was really awesome to be able to give some free seeds out to the patrons. And that was bottomless breadsticks, and those ones compared to mine are really big. But I do have to say, shout out Patreon member, Crop Circle Genetics. His are blowing everything out of the water. Amazing, thick stalks. It's just, I love it. I can't wait to see what happens when they get into flower.
I procrastinated on putting those in the ground. What do you think now that I'm home for like a while? Can I start some seeds still, you think?
I mean,
it's hot.
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
I was gonna say, if I pop seeds now, I feel like it's still like okay. It just might not be as giant as the others.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And then if you wanted to take clones just to like continue and hold on to the genetics, I mean, it's not going to be as big of a plant. I mean, Ben from Humboldt Seed Company, he's always saying, "Oh, you could start seeds July 1st." I'm like, whatever. He's down. Mm-hmm. I mean, lower than or about the same as you, maybe. Virginia is pretty.
I have to keep remembering that these ladies are so big right now, or they're going to get so big. I don't have the space for any more, which is why I keep telling myself no more seeds because they're gonna be massive.
Yeah.
I need like 2 more beds, and I just didn't get them in this year. See, Livy.
Yeah, I'm starting a lot of seeds still, but not cannabis. There's always next year, and there's always other seeds you can start, you know, if you need to, if you've got the itch. I started nasturtiums, and
that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna get on some hugel culture mounds and beds in the next couple of weeks for my veggies. Because it's like the cannabis gets the good beds along with like some of my other like fries, veggies, and then build some mounds for everything else.
I mean, you have like don't you have a nice yard, or you don't want to mess it up?
I just need to do more. Like I just need to get out there and build some shit.
Dude, just rent the tiller, go at it. one time, big ass 20 by 20 space, 30 by 30. You can have a giant garden in the ground. I love it. It's so
I
easy.
was gonna say, now I'm thinking about it because there's also like a nice like curve, like the natural like curve of the yard goes down, and there's like a pond, or there's a place that a pond could go, which is what
Ooh,
the hubs
yes.
want. And so I've been thinking about like creating like a back mound around the pond.
Yes,
Maybe.
you should definitely put in a pond. Water is gold. If you aren't getting and saving and utilizing the water on your property as efficiently as possible, you're missing out on liquid gold. But anyway, let's go through all of the things that we have scheduled for tonight, because you know me, I gotta be like in bed by 8:30. We got like an hour to go, but let's get through. Let's go. I'm up early. I gotta be up at 5:30
I know.
and start my freaking irrigation parts. Just part of them showed up today, so I accidentally sent them to my old address, so they finally showed up. But I've been hand watering. My garden is probably 5,000 square feet, 6,000. My husband says it's not 6,000, but I need to go out there with a tape measure. Who's actually, who's counting? It's a big ass fucking garden, and it takes a lot. I only have my raised beds and one in-ground row actually connected to irrigation, so everything else is being hand watered. I missed yesterday's tea Tuesday, and I did do a tea today, but I've been on top of it, so I've got 3 teas in for the season. Foliar feeding. So remember, bring back to the foliar spray in the morning. So I used to argue with Ian about this. I have always been a proponent of foliar feeding early because I'm just an early person. I like to wake up early. If I had to spray at night, it would be so late because the sun doesn't even go down until like 9:30 here. And now we have science that says that this song of the birds chirping, waking up, opens the stomata and it makes your foliar feed better. So get your foliar feeds in, get your teas in.
Now I'm curious though, how quickly do they close, and does that disrupt their sleep cycle?
Well, that's why I'm saying doing it in the morning.
Yeah. But you're saying, but now, I'm sorry. I was like at first thinking, other excuses for my late morning person to foliar feed at night. But then if I just
like if you played music. Yeah, I mean, you could probably just do that, and then I don't know what that would mean for your plants, like going to sleep, if it would take longer. Then what happens in the evening?
Like using your cell phone at night for humans.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're disrupting your circadian rhythm, but your plants, it could be. So I would say try to stick to the natural rhythm for as much as you can, because Mother Nature knows best, right? She's figured it out millions of years. So I've gotten a few. I wish I could share my phone screen on this. I don't know how. I'm not like that technologically, but one of my patrons sent me a message on Signal and sent me some photos of a plant that she had outside. I wish I could just show you guys this plant. This poor plant. You can see it's in flower. She's got umbrellas.
If you forward it to me on Signal, I can pull it up because I got Signal on my laptop. So.
Okay, let me send it to you. I hope she's okay with me sharing this. Probably. Let's see, where are you? Ann Mosley. Come on. So the thing is that when you start a seed inside and then you move it outside, right? We were just talking about disrupting your plant's natural circadian rhythm, right? What is that? That's the flow, molecules, like hormones and different chemicals build up in every organism according to its circadian rhythm. And so we have a release of certain chemicals in us when we see different spectrums of light. That's what we're talking about with the screen. Blue light is associated with morning light, and far red is in the evening. And so when we have a disruption and we see something that's associated with the morning, then it can release hormones within us. And this is the same thing for plants. And so when you start a plant inside a seedling under artificial light, you can disrupt that, let's keep calling it, let's go with the circadian rhythm, when you move it outside and the light cycle changes. Now, this is because our plants are photoperiod plants. Oh no, I disappeared. Where did I go? Maybe hopefully I'm still.
I made you full screen.
Okay, I see you full screen. Okay, so the plants then have a certain hormone count within them, right? Because the light is what triggers flower, or I should rather say the darkness is what triggers flower. So when you take your plant inside and it has a different light schedule than what's going on outside, you're messing with the hormones in your plant. And so a lot of the times people, novice growers will think, okay, I'm starting my plants. All I need to do is harden them off. I need to get them acclimated to the environment. But that also includes the light schedule. So I think I was able to send you the photo. Let me send you another one actually, because it's an up close and you'll see this ReVeg plant, this poor plant. It looks eaten alive too. Sorry, Nikki, I'm sharing your plant. And what happened is she started the plant, the seedling, inside, moved it outside, and then it started to go into flower, even though right now we're in the vegetative cycle, because its hormone count was messed up from that disruption. And we're calling it the circadian rhythm. That is not scientific. We're going with it to relate to a human, giving it a humanistic trait. So this happens a lot of the time with clones. When you take clones, think about this. So a seedling is started and it's a little tiny baby and it grows up and it's had its natural hormone life cycle. Especially if you start it, that's why I'm a huge proponent, just start it directly outside, right? You don't need to start it indoors. If you live in a nice warm area, it'll grow quickly. Just start it outside and then you don't have to worry about changing the light cycle. Now with a clone, that plant was taken from a mother plant. And so that is an established plant that's just like waiting to freaking go into flower. It's like, I have been living and I have been living and I have been living. Let me go into flower. I'm ready to have sex. I'm ready to mature and become a woman. Let me grow my flowers. Well, if you don't line up your clones with the right light cycle outside, again, you're going to go into flower early and then you're going to start revegging. Now, I really wish I had a picture to share of the amazing circle that's like the golden ratio Fibonacci sequence. When your plant starts to re-veg, a lot of the times you'll see this swirled leaf growing out of the flower. And it's just so cool because it's just one more piece of evidence of the divine nature that's going on and building and creating the world around us mathematically. We can find this pattern throughout nature everywhere. And I love that it happens when our cannabis plants re-veg. So they go out, they get triggered into flower because the light cycle is off and different. And when you have that abrupt change, let's say natural light cycle in my area, June 1st is like 14 and a half hours, 14 hours and 45 minutes or so. And most of the time indoor growers have their lights like 18 hours on, right, for veg. Well, that is a big difference of time to abruptly be changed, even 16 hours. So really making sure that your light cycle is synced up with what's going on outside is going to reduce your risk of re-vegging. So your plant then goes into flower and then it gets used to it and it starts re-vegging, and then you start having all this mutated growth, and it will, if you let it continue, like it will kind of grow out of it. It's this thing called like monster cropping, where anywhere there was that nug that started to form. Then it reveges and it goes and it starts shooting out leaves, and a lot of the time you'll have a ton of stems growing out of that area. And it kind of looks like, if you're familiar with like witch's broom, a fungal infection that happens on plants, where you have like this burst of growth out of a node, and so it will make your plant just like really, really bushy. And unfortunately, I have a few plants that happened to. My power cord tripped in the indoor and it was off for 24 hours and it was just a whole mess. So they started going to flower, and they are re-vegging a couple of them. It's probably plants that were much older, mother plants, and they were just, like I said, ready. They were so ready to go into flower. And let me check on the chat. Dr. Gorilla Glue Floor flowering now. Same thing, not normal. Yes. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna just let it go. Let it grow, prune it, try to give it a little bit more nitrogen, and just keep it going. I mean, the days are, we just hit the longest day of the year, so it should be, if it's not revegging now, I mean, it should be at this point. And just rock it and see what happens. Unless you're worried about your plant count, and you want to just swap it out, you have something ready to go. Like in this case for her, I would say she's kind of like, those are a little bit of lost causes. I haven't even written her back yet. I need to, because I hate being the bearer of bad news, but there's not a lot to be done because she doesn't have a full outdoor growing season because it's so freaking hot where she's at, like 120 degrees. So she's like, I think she needs to go for more equatorial strains that can handle the high heat, that are going to have a little bit looser nug structure. And then also like auto flowers early and get an early crop and then a late crop, if she's too worried about her plant. But I've had plants in my greenhouse with it reaching 120 degrees. Putting shade cloth, your plants can handle a lot of heat. You can put a simple shade cloth. She did the umbrellas. I've even seen people do like red shade cloth, which is interesting. And just making sure that they have sufficient amount of water and their roots stay cool. If their roots are cool, that you have a really nice thick mulch layer, your plant is going to be fine. I mean, think about some of the places that weed grows gets really freaking hot. So I'm going to just tell her to start over. I'll send her more seeds. I should probably just try and get her a clone sent to her from Seedsman. That would be ideal. If you guys didn't know, Seedsman ships clones direct. So I just wrote an article. This is a great segue into clones versus seeds. Will you pull that up? The article on seedsman.com. You can use code SunGrown10 for all of your seeds and clones. And I got clones shipped directly to me. And at first I was like, wow, these are a little pricey for clones, because living in California, I paid $5 to $10 per clone. And then, mostly every clone that was given to me this year. And so when I saw the price tag, I was like, dang, $37 for a clone. I mean, I get that it's shipped, but when I got it, I was very surprised and happily surprised, because it is planted in a actual 4x4, like a little, it's got a ton of soil, and it's like a full plant. So the clones were great. Highly recommend them. So in this article, there we go. There's the Blaze logo. Shout out Blaze. Can we get that a full screen so I don't see all of the other things behind? Sorry, look at all your tabs, girl. That looks like mine. Okay, so in this article, we're going over clones versus seeds and what's best for your garden. So we kind of touched on, the difference for hormones and like moving your plants outside versus inside. So there's a lot of different things to take into consideration when you're thinking about whether you want to do clones or seeds. Now, for a lot of you guys, growing from clones just wasn't possible because you didn't have access to clones, but now you do. Literally, you can, if you live in the United States, you can have clones shipped directly to you. This is because of a law, the 2018 Farm Bill, that defines hemp as cannabis sativa with less than 0.3% THC. So all clones qualify for hemp plants and can be shipped as such. And when they are shipped, they're shipped with an attestation, a test result showing that it is a hemp plant. So if you have only grown seeds because that's what all you could get, no more. Now you can grow clones. Again, clones are going to be much more sensitive to the shift in the light cycle outside, moving from inside to outside, than a seedling that was grown completely outside. Now, clones they're from an established plant. So getting it shipped to your location, that may not be the climate or zone appropriate for the clone. You know what I'm saying? So if you're an outdoor grower and you have a very short growing season, you need to be a lot more cautious and careful about what clones you order, because not all of them are going to work in your area. But I will say, with what I have observed here in the Great Inland Northwest, up near, I'm about 2 hours south of Canada in Washington, so zone 6B, we get our first frost is average October 15th. Last year was September 15th, but who's counting? Not me. And so one of the things is that being so far from the equator, the light cycle, the days stay much lighter longer than the closer you get to the equator. So again, remember, clones are much more sensitive to an abrupt change or any kind of change in light. And so your seedlings that have been grown outside, started outside, and lived their entire life outside, where I'm at, are not shifting into flower as quickly as the clones are. So for me, I had a harder time finishing my seedlings. So I am just so grateful for Seedsman to be able to send me clones this year, because all of my seed plants are kind of just tests. I don't really know if I'm going to get very much from them. Last year, my seed plants, I got like a couple of big nugs, and everything else went to fresh frozen because it was not dense enough to dry. It just didn't finish in time. And again, maybe if I had gotten to that extra month, that extra 4 weeks, it would have been okay. But I had to cut down early October because of all of the frosts that I encountered in September. So with that being said, like, choosing clones or seeds, that's an individual question that you need to take into consideration. Your climate, what kind of, how far you are from the equator, what kind of space you have, if you have something inside or outside, if you want to do multiple harvests. Again, if you're in an area that is maybe a little bit more fluctuations in the environment, a seedling is going to adapt much better to your environment than a clone plant. This is because plants are just amazing because they will grow. They have this big access to all of this genetic information within that seed. And as the seed goes through the environment and is growing, it will turn on and turn off different genetic codes to ensure that it can survive. Oh, be quiet. In that environment. And so your seedlings are going to be more adaptable to harsh weather. They're going to pick up traits that make it sturdier for that environment. So then taking a clone from that seed plant is going to be amazing for the following season because it has grown and adapted specifically for your region. God, it's not even the morning. He's like freaking won't shut up. Oh my goodness. So when it comes to seeds, we've got regular, we've got feminized, and we've got auto flowering. So I've got some regular seeds growing right now in my garden. Stay Fly does not feminize their seeds. So I have to, you can either sex test, which Snoop Dogg in the Patreon, thank you for sharing that sex testing. Cat Lady, do you think you can share that from the Discord into the chat and the screen? Because it was like really very affordable sex testing, and you can just send in your samples. He'll give you what the sex is, and then you can cull as needed. So I'm just letting them rock, and I will kill them once I see them because I like to take pictures. It's good content for me to be able to take photos of male plants, and who knows, I might try and transplant it and put it somewhere else, save some pollen, because those bottomless breadsticks are pretty amazing. And then again, we have the auto flowering, which is cross between Cannabis sativa and Cannabis ruderalis, and we have achieved a lot better genetics in autoflowers as of late. And so places that have really short growing seasons like Alaska or even my area would be good to grow autoflowers. Ben was telling me the jelly donut, and when I say Ben, that's one of the owners of Humboldt Seed Company. He's a good friend of mine, and he's like, why aren't you growing autoflowers? And I'm like, I don't know, I just have this growing weed for 10 years, and I just have like a limiting belief about autoflowers, which I need to release and let go. The social constructs that we create causing limiting beliefs, because I could probably get some pretty good, yield out of an autoflower here.
Some of my favorite buds has been an autoflower. Can confirm.
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of people they're growing, really great autoflowers now. So the genetic variation and stability that comes from seedlings, like, right, when you have a seedling, you're gonna have its brothers and sisters. It's not the same clone. It's not the same plant. I always like to say, hey, if you got a plant count and you're growing clones, if it's all the same strain, that's literally one plant. But seeds, that's completely different plants. So you may have different genetic, variation, different phenotypes, chemotypes. So you're going to see they're growing differently. Maybe they want different nutrient requirements. The canopy management is going to be different. So you need to consider like how many plants are you growing and what style. So like a sea of green may not be the best for seedlings, right? Because seedlings are going to be potentially different from each other. One's going to be really lanky. One might be short and squatty. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. So again, for commercial growing, clones are the choice for like all commercial operations. They usually do big pheno hunts. They'll pop seeds, they'll select what they want, cull the rest, and you take into consideration, are you doing bubble hash? If so, you need to have at least 3% return on bubble hash, preferably higher, 4, 5, 6. You want uniformity, you want dense buds, you want it to yield really well, so that means tight internodal spacing. You want it to look beautiful because people buy with their eyes. You want it to smell good. You want it to get you high. You want it to test high. Commercial right now, it's all about the numbers. So if you're not growing something that's hitting over 30% THC in a commercial setting, unfortunately dispensaries are blocking a lot of buyers like from buying anything unless it tests those numbers, which is really stupid because you can get super high off of 17, 18, 19% THC. It's about the entourage and all of the things that are in it. But these are just things to take into consideration of what your situation is. If you're a home grower, which most of us here probably are, then it doesn't matter. Have fun, grow seeds, take clones from what does best in your area and what you like to smoke the most. And then you can have that uniform consistency. So if you wanted to do, sea of green, little hoop houses, and make sure all of your plants look the same, like, you can pick something from a seed that is adapted to your environment, but it is exactly uniform for you. So with the Blaze project, we are focusing on seedlings because there isn't information available for outdoor growers on our cannabis seeds. We don't know what seeds grow best in what areas. We can guess, depending on their lineage, if they have more sativa leaning or more indica leaning, because like maybe an equatorial sativa would be better, obviously closer to the equator, but there isn't a database like telling each seed like, hey, this seed should do great here, and there isn't even zones for growing cannabis. So that's the whole goal of Blaze. So if you didn't get to sign up this year, bookmark it for next year. And if you bought the seeds, if you have purple Oreos or strawberry banana grape and you didn't sign up for Blaze, reach out to us and you can always participate. Again, later in the article, it does talk about like the flowering response. And so clones, because they are, you know, older from stock mother plants, they're going to have that, like I said, flip into flower faster and respond because they're not working through all of those hormones that they're ready to go. Whereas the seeds going through the entire life cycle, starting from that juvenile phase and maturing. And so clones, because of that, may need a little bit more, definitely do need a little bit more nutrient than a seedling. So a seedling is not going like right away. You're not going to start, you don't even have to give it any nutrient the first week while its cotyledons are there. It's providing all of the nutrients that plant needs for the first week. A clone needs to be fed like right away. Even when you're in the clone dome, sometimes you foliar feed. You missed it before the roots have developed so it doesn't yellow out. And that's because the plant is already, it's from a mature plant. It's already going through, it needs more nutrient. What else? Oh, and then of course, Happy Plant Organics. You can support your plant's growth, seedlings or clones. Grab your Happy Plant Organics today. Use some code, I don't know, welcome 15 probably for 15% off if you haven't bought yours. Or free tea for a sample, and I will get you a free sample shipped out. You just pay shipping. All right. Add over. And then you can see in the article, there's like for the uniformity, there's a picture of me in a greenhouse with a 75-foot greenhouse of ice cream cake, and the entire canopy is exactly the same because those clones are exactly the same plant. And so it's just right across, like almost to my head. That's the same plant because it's a clone. So they look exactly the same. Shout out ice cream cake. I just bought a pound of ice cream cake and it looked really good. It was pretty purple. I remember everyone loved ice cream cake and then everyone hated it. Now it's coming back in a style, just like clothes. And then pest resistance and environmental sensitivity. We kind of touched on that a little bit. You know, plants that are outside and grow in that environment are going to have more, a seedling's going to adapt more to your local climate. So I would say when you're growing outside, seeds typically offer a better performance because they grow a taproot. So this is that first root that shoots out, and that's not to say though that clones aren't going to do amazing outdoors either. So I've mostly grown clones outside. I do like doing seedlings, but again, it's all about your situation. And I think starting a seed outside, getting it adapted to your environment, and then taking clones and growing it out if you really loved it, that's an amazing choice. And that's what I'm doing this year. So check out the article. Feel free if you have questions to reach out to me, of course. There is no right answer. Just grow more weed, more plants. That's all we can say. And if you want to get clones from Seedsman, hit the link in the description and use code SunGrownTime. Let's see what the chat's saying because I have not been looking at the chat. Let's see here. Another honest question. I topped my raised beds with 2 inches of river sand thinking lower humidity. Honest thoughts. So when it comes to sand, I am not really somebody who adds sand to their soil. So think about this. Your soil, like sand, silt, and clay, is just your soil's texture. And so that is the soil particle size. So clay being the smallest, and then silt, and then sand. So if you put a layer, if you have different layers and it's not mixed, then you're not having like that homogenization allows water to flow through your medium at a consistent rate. So what would happen with sand is that it's going to go down really quickly. It's going to go through the sand really quickly. Sand doesn't hold on to water, doesn't hold on to nutrients. It just allows things to go through it. So sand occurs naturally. All soils are typically a combination of all 3 of the textures, and they're going to influence your soil structure. Now, this is going to influence like I said, the water holding capacity and the nutrient holding capacity. Clay has the tightest hold on water and nutrients because it is so small that it actually has an electrical charge, a negative charge, because it's not bound. It's like it's so small that it's going to be holding on to the charges of other cations, which is what your plant feeds off of. Cations and anions, ionic bonds are how your plant feeds. So for me, sand wouldn't be the answer to any question that or a problem. Some people I have heard will use sand to like stop fungus gnats, and they swear by it indoors. If that works for you, okay. There are things like green sands that you can mix into your soil as an amendment, but that's more for the nutrient that the green sand contains. Personally, I don't use sand, and I don't think like I don't really understand what you mean by lowering your humidity, honestly. So maybe you can clarify that. Scott says he finds seeds to be more hardy overall outdoors. Yes. Started his seeds January 1st. Dang. Yep, my outdoor is pretty much all into rosin. What a cock. Yes, he is. I juice all my males out of my garden as they show. I'm not using them to make seeds. That's a great way to use your male plants. We did an interview a couple years ago now, crazy, with Dr. Pepper Hernandez, who was all about juicing cannabis, and I think that that's an excellent way to use your males. That's the link to sex plants on the cheap. Yay, thank you. And the seedsman code is sungrown10, Aaron. Awesome. If anybody has any other questions, please feel free to throw it in the chat. And again, like, sorry I have not been on YouTube lately. Like, my garden is just calling me. I spend at least 2 to 4 hours a day in my garden, and it's amazing. And then I also, obviously, I have like 20 chickens, a dog, a cat, a 4-year-old, and I'm saving up for a milk cow. Somebody wrote me on Instagram and offered me their pregnant milk cow for $800. They are selling it for $2,000 and said they'd give it to me for $800 if I came and got it. So I'm like trying to figure out a way of putting up some fencing and getting this cow from Northern California, because I am just addicted to raw milk. And, you know, with just eating and growing and producing as much as I possibly can. And I think that that is something that everyone should do if they can, if they have the space, and trade. Like what you guys are doing, growing your own weed, is a valuable skill. It is not easy to just grow amazing dank, and if you struggle, that is okay. That is something that most people struggle with the first time that they grow. just keep trying and ask me questions and reach out to people, because people who grow weed love to help other people grow weed. And when you smoke your own weed, there's never any weed that's better than what you grew yourself, because the joy and the pride that you have in doing something yourself just can't be it can't be compared. So grow more, grow your own, and then trade. Like the lady that I've been buying raw milk from, I asked her if she would trade weed. Unfortunately, I live in a very conservative place. So far, everyone I've offered to trade weed has said no. I also asked the local chicken feed. He's 20 years old, maybe 25. He lives like 5 minutes down the road from me, and he mixes all of our chicken feed. He does it commercially. He has a little side business. His parents sell eggs to the local natural food store. And I'm like, he's got to smoke, right? You want to trade? No, no trades. I did get the raw milk lady to trade me for some grass-fed ground beef from the cows in our pasture. So, you know, find your people, trade what you can. The government is trying to poison you. There is nothing safe about packaged, labeled bullshit. Even if it says it's organic, it's okay. It's a percentage of poison that's allowed in. So try and grow all your own food, your medicine, smoke, drink your cannabis leaves, apply it as salve, make your tinctures, because the only person who cares about your health and your families is you and the people around you that are like-minded. And so try to surround yourself with that. Every day there's more and more pollution, poison, and greed is taking over. So and then like the price of everything, inflation rising, like being able to rely on those core people in your community, even if it is through the internet. Like Cat Lady has been there for me over the last few years. She lives all the way on the other fucking side of the country. I've met some really amazing people in Patreon. We do the homestead. We did this for the first time last year, a homestead gift exchange. And I wish John Homestead Acre, who's in the chat right now, I wish I was drinking some of your pear liqueur or your limoncello that you sent me, because that's amazing. And so finding your people, even if they don't live close to you, and treating them with loving kindness, and like that is so important. And I think, I won't get into it too much, but like me and Cat Lady recently went through a difficult experience that definitely made me feel guarded on my heart. I'm a very loving person, and I was hurt by one of basically my fans, and somebody that I thought was a friend. And so there are people who have their problems and their traumas and can hurt you. And I'm trying right now to like be open and loving and receptive to that, because I know that there's, for one bad apple in the bunch, like there are so many amazing, beautiful souls that want to come together and want to help make the world a better place. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Like that's why I'm on YouTube right now, because I really did not want to come on YouTube. Honestly, I was like terrified of having a run-in with this person and them even seeing me. So that's another reason why I've been in the shadows and not on my computer. But if you want to support me, come to Patreon, and I'm there every Tuesday showing up. And if you need help, if you need seeds, if you need clones, if you need a shoulder to cry on, like, I'm there, Cat Lady's there, and it's a really great community. And they're all in the chat, chatting it up right now. Homestead Acre, Caldeo, Snoop Dad, Double D. Y'all have been great, and I'm just super grateful for you guys being a part of my life. So thank you, much love. And do we have anything else that I was supposed to talk about? Or did I touch on all of we
I think you touched on everything. We'll be sending out newsletters with announcements on additional prizes. I'll email you if you want to get that sent out to you, the two folks who won. And then register at blazeresearch.org if you haven't already and you have your seeds. We want to hear from you.
Yay, yes, please. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I am excited for this next article that I was talking about briefly on music and sounds and frequency and what it does for your plant and what it does for you, because we are all energetic beings. Us, our plants, the world around us. So everybody here, raise your frequency, raise your vibration, and we can together create a resonance frequency that will just stimulate more loving kindness. Is what you put out is what you get. So go out there and smile at a stranger, tell someone they're beautiful, like give them some thumbs up instead of flipping somebody off. It's so easy to be angry and mad in the world today because you have different opinions, but everyone's got opinions, so who cares what the opinions are? Because there's two things that humans will respond most to, and that's fear and that is love. So choose love every time, and you will have a positive effect on the world around you. No matter what, if you choose love, your life is going to be better. So that's what I'm going to leave tonight with. And thank you guys for joining in. Goathead wants to know how he can follow Cat Lady.
Yeah, I just saw that and I was like, follow Alex. Eventually I'll get social media set up, but right now I cling on to Alex.
Yes. So come to Patreon and hang out with us, because
Yeah.
Cat Lady's there every Tuesday as well. And anyway, thank you guys. I'll see you. I don't know when. I don't know when I'm coming back to YouTube. I don't know. It's just, it's a scary world out there.
This is good. Hopefully we'll get another maybe in a week or two.
Yes, yes. Maybe by the flowering survey, which we're gonna have ready to go by the.
Let's go over the flower survey. Yeah.
And you have to have everyone in by, what did we say? End of July. They have to submit it. We're gonna get it out first week of July.
Yeah.
And then
so end of July sounds good, because for beginning of July is when we wanted to have it out. So yeah.
Well, I guess we should have it end of August, because some of us aren't going to be even in flower. So I think that would be, we should definitely maybe have like a giveaway for.
You didn't go into flower until like August 1st or mid-August.
Yeah, like August 15th was.
It was late, yeah.
So on some of them, that heavy pet was like, one of the phenos of the heavy pet was barely budding out on my son's birthday, August 26th. I was like, what the F? And that's the one that Ian liked the most, and I didn't even get, I got like one good nug. Come here, Mama. So yeah, we're also, remember, we're going to do more giveaways. So we'll, stay tuned if you're part of, oh, he's coming to say hi.
Hi, baby.
And don't step on the computer. All right. Yeah. Subscribe to the newsletter at queenofthesungrown.com, and you'll have all of the updates. I'm much more good, and Discord. You can join the Discord even if you're not in Blaze. You can go to the Discord and see what we're doing. I think it's open to the public. Maybe.
I think I have to put a link somewhere on not a logged in Blaze page for that to happen, but that's not hard.
Okay. Well, maybe that's a maybe then. Just join Patreon.
Maybe the next live stream.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.